time aboard. This is the Miles to Go podcast. And now here's your host, Ed Pizza.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Miles to Go podcast. As we click the button to record, Mr. Kerr, I am halfway to winning the bet. The over-under is 1.5. I have clocked in and spent my time with you in that place that, can we name it now? Can we say where we were?
We can, but before you do that, I want you to know that hundreds of thousands of bettors have lost their lives being halfway to winning the bet. So,
hey, you know what? We're going to make it work. So we were in Savannah, Georgia, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. And there's lots of cool stuff coming up that we can't talk about yet. But for folks who are just tuning in, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Delta's changes to the changes and some more changes that I didn't see when we talked about the changes to the changes. That's a lot of change, Richard.
A lot of changes, and not the good kind that jingles, just the bad kind.
No, we're going to talk a little bit about Southwest Airlines and some changes that they made that were positive. We could probably talk about the Air France changes too, which were kind of cool. And we got a little rent day stuff to talk about, as well as a listener question. And you got babysitting duty today, so we got to go, man. We got to get this party started.
And this is my last Sunday home until, where's the calendar?
2024.
Hold on, let me pull up my little desk calendar here. We are recording here on Sunday, October 29th. I will next be home on Sunday, November 19th. So it's gonna be a bit.
We're gonna have to work that recording schedule out.
We are.
Because I'm gonna be in Lisbon between now and then too. So we got all kinds of stuff going on. So if you guys are just tuning in, he is at Kerr Points on all those social media channels. I am at Pizza in Motion. You can text us 571-293-6659. You can also call that number and leave us a voicemail.
I'm just gonna say we don't have enough action on that line. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, send us a text, send us a funny voicemail. If it happens to be 2 a.m. after your college team lost or won and you need somebody to vent with, you just call that number and Uncle Ed and I will listen to it and we might air it.
Uncle Ed. Oh, we got like 6-7 questions last week. We won't be able to squeeze them all on the show, but
let's get some funny voicemails, people. Call that number. Let's go.
Yes, funny voicemails would be a lot of fun. Funniest ones played on the air. As well, big thanks and welcome to our newest Slack community members, Darren and Jennifer. We've also got our travel buddies, Clint and Jen, who have joined the community. So if you want to support the show and throw a few bucks our way for a cup of Starbucks coffee, or maybe we'll buy Richard a sandwich.
I didn't know I was such a sandwich fan.
You can find the details for that in the show notes.
Sandwich.
This thing is off the rails.
I don't know why that was so funny on a Sunday morning, but because never once have I talked to you about sandwiches in 5 years ever, I don't think.
I'm a sandwich guy, man. Love a good sandwich.
You're Italian, so yeah, not surprising.
Right. We feed all of our problems. All right, so let's do a quick listener question, and then we'll talk about rent day. And this listener question was funny because we were actually sitting in Club 30. Well, not we, you weren't there, but a bunch of members from the Slack community were sitting with me in Club 33 at Disneyland when this Disney question came in from Chloe. We're listening to the show for a few years now. She heard Richard mention buying direct from Disney for Disney Vacation Club because you're doing the old Moonlight Magic at Animal Kingdom in December.
Hopefully I am.
I was going to say, you've booked a hotel in hopes that will happen. Her parents have been DVC members for a long time. They're thinking about whether they should be buying direct or if they should be buying on the resale market. And she wanted to know what the difference was between the two, Mr. Kerr. Do you know the difference?
I do know the difference.
I bet you do.
As both a resale owner and a direct owner. And there's very specific reasons I went direct. How about a 30-second DVC overview in case we got new listeners this week? Disney has their own timeshare program called Disney Vacation Club. You hear timeshare and you cringe a little bit. I did the exact same thing. Disney is the only one, in my opinion, that's worth it. You can buy Disney points, Disney Vacation Club points, every single room on property in Orlando at Disney Vacation Club resorts, and a couple hotels in Disneyland, California are a set amount of points, just like a hotel award chart. How many points? The nicer the room, the better the view. The more peak season, the more points per night it is. And based on how many points you buy, you can use those points every single year. And it goes all the way until 2064 for some resorts. So an upfront cost, and then you pay annual maintenance costs, and you get those points every single year. You can either buy them from an existing DVC owner looking to get out of their contract, or you can buy them direct from Disney and get additional perks. Now, my favorite perks of being now a direct owner are access to the discounted annual pass, which is now $9.99 instead of $14.99. If you are buying the IncrediPass, which is open to the public, $14.99. If you're a DVC direct owner, you can buy the Sorcerer's Pass, which is $9.99. Caveat asterisk, you don't get access to the parks over like Christmas week. You are blacked out that week. Not a big deal for me. I'm not going on Christmas week.
Yeah, nobody will. Unless you're crazy, that's not the days you want to be in the park anyway.
I really like that. I like access to the DVC events such as Moonlight Magic, where they shut the parks down late one night just for DVC owners. They actually just announced the 2024 dates, and it's pretty robust schedule, man. So lots of opportunities, even at the water park, Typhoon Lagoon, open just to DVC members. You get access to the DVC Lounge, one in Epcot, and the Glass Pyramid over Figment. Just wildly offended Ed, his favorite ride that nobody will ever understand.
You really did, but you do that pretty regularly. So
yeah, and then the lounge in Disneyland is opening, right? Or is it already open? The DVC lounge that you get access to.
Yeah, I don't remember if it's open or not. That's a good question. But yeah, there are a few lounge opportunities for you, but the annual pass is my favorite discount by far.
$500 savings per person per year. Pretty solid. So I just got my kids that pass actually $969 before they raised it to $999. Clutch by 1 week. Save myself $60.
But you also get discounts on food and merchandise as well, somewhere in the 10 to 20% range. They've spiked that up to 30% a couple of times over the years, but for the most part, it's a 10 to 20% discount, which, goes a long way if you're there as often as you and I are.
Yeah, and then I think my last favorite thing is access to the Villains Lounge on top of Bay Lake Tower, where we watched fireworks for the first time about a month ago. They pipe the music in and it's delayed, true Disney magic, just so that it matches up to the fireworks you see right overlooking Space Mountain and the Castle and Tron. And they have like a set menu up there, good drinks. They have like the villains costumes that your kids can dress up in. Pretty cool experience. So all of that stuff. Now, the overarching thing here is Ed and I do not use our DVC points. And you're going to go, what? What are you talking about?
Oh, I used them once.
Ed's been in the game for a long time because he's very, very, very much older than I am as a spring chicken here. But I just bought them purely for investment purposes. So you can rent these points out. And it's a great deal because we win for rental income. And if you rent from us, I can guarantee you that you're going to pay significantly less for the exact same hotel room than you would booking direct with Disney. So it's incentive alignment. Everybody wins. And that's my plug.
Sometimes as much as 40 or 50% off of what Disney is charging because the chart is fixed. So
and I still win. So I'm going to give my plug, man. If you want to rent some DVC points and you're saying, hey, I really want to go on this vacation to save some money versus what Disney's telling me is going to cost, you just send
you check with Ed. You don't check with Richard.
You just send old Uncle Dick an email. Say, hey, I want to rent those points, buddy, and I will cut you a deal.
And when you save all that money, you can use it for it makes it easier to have a nice expensive dinner in the parks, which they are. There are a lot of nice expensive dinners now in the parks. But if you're saving money on your lodging and you're using points or miles for your airplane flights, then when your kid wants an $18 balloon, it doesn't hurt as much.
Oh, are they only 18? I think I just paid 22 for a
Did you really?
The Buzz Lightyear balloon inside of the balloon kind of deal. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because you can't deflate those to take them home either. Those are.
If you're driving your truck home, you certainly can.
No, well then you didn't deflate it. So
no, I didn't. You can't.
And I did, and I don't drive a truck. But yet, and I don't know if you've noticed because I know how detail oriented you are. But do you see who's watching us?
Both of us.
But no, but here they talk about spending money.
I don't.
You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do this on a podcast, but this was from Club 33. This is Walt's Temperance Drink. That's his mug. And then, how do you like that?
No, if you go over to the YouTube channel Miles to Go, ladies and gentlemen, see what Ed just showed us. If you're a Disney nerd, you're going to freak out. If you're not a Disney nerd, you're going to be like, this is the most boring podcast in the world. Why am I listening?
Right.
Why am I watching this? These guys aren't even good looking. Well, one of them's good looking. But
Walt. All right, man. Break it out, man. Break out the next 150% transfer bonus, which was never ever going to happen. Break out the next thing that Bilt has done.
Yeah, if you're listening, actually,
ding.
What, man? I just need a permanent. I should just pull a permanent calendar up here. Yeah, Wednesday, November 1st, the day this drops, is the next Bilt rent day, and we do have up to a 150% transfer bonus to Emirates Skywards.
And this is why, folks, you should listen live, because if you listen on Thursday, what do you get for rent day? You get nothing.
This is one day only. This is based on your Bilt status, the status you have in our program. You will get between a 75%, still ridiculous, and nobody even comes close, all the way up to a 150% bonus if you're a top-tier Bilt Platinum member. So that makes business class round trip to Europe from either of the New York routes. So they fly Newark to Athens or JFK to Milan. It's 70,000 Bilt points round trip in business class on Emirates. That's pretty smoking deal there. And then obviously you can go to Dubai and beyond and experience that onboard product that Emirates has. So there used to be some really great ways to redeem for Emirates first class. Take the shower on board, fly the new quote-unquote game changer interior, which is actually flying in Ed's neighborhood starting December 1st.
Amen.
At Dulles. And this is going to be the best way to book that first class trip if you want to do it. And hopefully you have some Bilt points and hopefully you have some Bilt status. And if you don't, FOMO, 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 FOMO. Don't you want to?
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't you? Don't you want to? Yeah, we're pretty excited about it, man. So it's great. We even got Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary on our game show this month. If you hadn't checked the video out on the Bilt app, and again, anybody can download the Bilt app and earn Bilt points. Doesn't have anything to do with credit card. Credit card obviously makes it easier to earn more points, but there's plenty of ways to earn points now. With the expansion of the Bilt dining program, Lyft rides, I give you 1,400 points just for linking all of your travel accounts. I give you 300 points if you link your Amazon account. If you link 3 cards, not the Bilt card, to the Bilt wallet, you get 300. It's just really easy, and you're silly if you're not taking advantage of it. I said it. You're silly.
Well, I am silly, but you bring up the Bilt dining thing, which has now come to my neighborhood, which I think is awesome. In a lot of ways, they're in points, and as we've learned on the show, me not being the smartest chicken in the world, I finally figured out a couple months ago that my wife should have a Bilt account too. She doesn't have the credit card. She had my card on my account, but so now I'm earning travel trivia points on her account as well. And between Bilt dining and Lyft credits and all that stuff, makes it easier than ever to get status. And it's also why folks are clamoring for you to bring back a rent day partner. And because our good friends at Air France KLM have lowered the cheapest award price for business class tickets, one way from Europe to the East Coast and vice versa, down to 50,000 KLM Air France Flying Blue points. Or Flying Blue miles, my bad.
Blue miles.
Pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, I was excited to see. Now, this is not every single day. Obviously, this is saver availability. No. It may not even be every single month, but if you go and do their calendar search, and the way you do that to see an entire month's worth of availability is you search one way and you leave that outbound blank date, and then you hit search. And then I think I just mixed those words up because I'm dyslexic this morning. You leave the search date blank. You leave the search date blank, and then you click the search button and it brings up the calendar worth of availability. Yeah, pretty great, man. I mean, Atlanta to Paris, Amsterdam, beyond 50,000 points in business class.
Definitely going to be hitting that.
Yeah, and I still have all of mine from my Flying Blue promo back on rent day that I took advantage of. So I'm sitting on like 250,000 Flying Blue miles right now.
I flushed all mine for that wonderful trip to Bilt.
Yeah, it's great. Now, I a little inside baseball, ladies and gentlemen. I have a phone call with the guy named Ben Lipsy, who runs the Flying Blue Mile, one of the great partners of ours. Met him several times now over the last couple of years. I would like, Ben, if you're listening to this, which you absolutely are not, but he is one of us, ladies and gentlemen. He is a points and miles nerd. He knows all the ins and outs. He knows some free tricks. He's a big fan of getting Bilt points himself. And Bilt's not on the embargo list for every time Flying Blue breaks miles, but every time I see news, I shoot him a quick text. It's like, hey, man, we got to chat about this because I want to see if this is like, is this permanent? Is this a little promo? Like, because, Flying Blue shifts those prices up and down. So I'm interested. I can't wait to talk to Ben this week and see if this is here to stay, if this is like a new marketing thing. He's been teasing a few things coming out about the program. So I'm excited to see if this is permanent, and I will pass back whatever information I can next week.
All right, so flip a coin, man. Are we talking Delta or are we talking Southwest? Where are we going next?
Let's flush this Delta stuff down the toilet so we don't have to come back to it next week. So let's hit it one more time.
They could make more changes next week.
They could make more changes, probably will, or we'll just find some more like we missed last week.
All right, so there's 2 things that we missed. And one of them you and I have already talked about, but I was listening to Seth and Steven on Dots, Lines, and Destinations, and they pointed out that in the most recent round of changes, Delta actually pulled back the ability to earn MQDs, or medallion qualifying dollars, the only status metric going forward, on car rentals and hotel stays. This was something that they had just announced. This was just part of the new changes, so it's been out there for, 6-7 weeks. And then when they decided to roll back some of the negative changes, they actually rolled back this positive change. And I'm sitting here, Mr. Kerr, and for the life of me, I cannot figure out why they did this.
So remind me, was it 1 MQD per dollar spent with car rentals and hotels booked through the Delta portals? Was it that good? Was it just like American?
I think so, but I'll look while you were chatting. You think?
If so, I mean, you and I have had great success earning American status off of things that make American money, like the commissions they earn off of hotels and car rentals that we book through their portals. And I thought it was a great win-win. Again, incentive alignment. Ladies and gentlemen, my new philosophy in life is incentive alignment, whether it's a personal relationship, a friend relationship, Ed and I's relationship, or a business relationship.
Whoa.
You're my work wife, and you have been for many years now. You accept
it. Sad, but you're right.
That makes me sad. But align the incentives, right? Win. Customer wins, you get status. Delta wins, you get commission. So the fact that they don't want to drive business through this, was this their way of saying, like, we've seen what people are doing through American. If we're going to drop our tiers, we got to make it a little bit harder. The only ways to earn MQDs now are to fly your butt on a Delta flight or spend on a Delta credit card. We're kind of getting rid of what I thought was going to be probably the easiest way to earn MQDs, at least if I diverted some business travel to booking hotels through that Delta portal. Pretty interesting that they took this away, man. And I really think it was, hey, we're going to lower the threshold, but we're going to take away this other nice way that was going to probably be possible to earn quite a bit of MQDs, which doesn't make sense to me because Delta, I mean, the margins
these are very lucrative ways
like
for them.
20% margins on hotel stays that they put in the pocket, right? Yeah,
that's the thing that surprises me. I don't know I've never actually tried to dig into what the commissions are on the car rentals, but on the hotel side, I mean,
same.
Yeah, okay. I mean, like on the hotel side, like having come from that business and having friends are still in that business, I understand what those margins look like. And I mean, it's massive. So I mean, giving, I mean, even if they diluted it to some degree, I still think you'd want to encourage this. And I'm puzzled, Mr. Kerr. I'm puzzled.
No, I mean, we have the Bilt travel portal powered by Expedia, so I'm not going to tell you the exact margins, but I'll tell you that hotel and car rental are pretty similar. Like it's a great business to be in. And that's why these programs incentivize you with giving you part of that commission back,
right,
in the form of MQDs or Americans case loyalty points. So,
and I did confirm it's car rentals and hotel stays are both 1 MQD per dollar spent.
So that would have been, I think they realized, hey, this is going to be a really easy way for people to earn MQDs. I mean, if I diverted all of my paid hotel stays for work to the Delta portal and I got $1 MQD per dollar spent, I mean, I'm not going to tell you exactly how much I spend on hotels, but I would have a significant status with Delta just by booking hotels, which now that's gone. So,
Mr. Kerr, you're getting very good at this podcast thing, because when you talk about significant status with Delta, you've now hit on the second point that we need to cover. How do you feel about 3 years of diamond status?
It depends on what I have to do to get it.
Well, you can't get it, to be clear. Well, you could, but in this instance, what I've realized, the other change that they made was they said so like you and I talked about this on the show a couple of times. Based on other folks I had spoken with, I figured that there were a massive amount of rollover dollars out there or MQMs. And so like the thought process there was that during the pandemic, a bunch of people, rang up a bunch of spending because that spending all counted towards lifetime status. And Delta had very aggressive earning rates, bonus MQMs, bonus MQDs, spending on credit cards. And so you could spend your way to status on a card. They've always had this thing where, well, not always, but for a long time, they've had rollover MQM. So you hit your status metrics each year. And if you let's just say you qualified the hard way and you got 125,000 MQMs on Delta in the past, and now you're Delta Diamond. If you actually flew 150,000 MQMs, they would roll that 25,000 over. We thought there were some pretty massive balances out there. It's confirmed by this change, in my opinion, where they're saying for every 100, if you want to go big baller route, for every 100,000 extra MQMs you have, you can trade those in for a year of whatever your current status level is. So me being a Delta Diamond, who is not qualified for Delta Diamond for 2024, which is the key, I have enough MQMs for 3 years of Diamond status. So that would be 25, 26, and 27. If I spend $100,000 on my Amex card in November and December, if I put all my business spend on the Delta Diamond cards, which have been diluted, and I don't necessarily know that I want the Sky Miles, I would get total 4 years of Diamond status, because I would qualify for 24, and I would get 3 more years, 25, 26, and 27. Mr. Kerr, what the heck should I do?
I mean, yeah. You said a lot of big things for Dumb Georgia Boy this morning. So, I mean, still as we speak today, you get 1 MQM per dollar spent on Delta cards. That's not diluted until starting in January, right? Where it turns into the 20 to 1 or 10 to 1.
Correct.
So that means you get 1,000 MQMs and then, 100,000 MQMs. And then how many to roll over?
I guess if I got 100,000 MQMs, I get 4 more years of Diamond status, because I'm already have over 300,000 MQMs. So I could get to 400,000 by the end of the year.
And then it's 100,000 MQMs per year to roll over into maintaining status for the next year. Now, is this going to be the exact same case this time next year? Absolutely not. So we're really talking about 1 extra year of Diamond status. And I think...
Why do you say that? No,
the rules are going to change.
Well, no, in theory, you're cashing them all in now. You like, they just take them.
If they take them now and they're really doing that deal, and your little account page updates to Diamond until January 31st, 2028, then absolutely, yes, you do that. I don't think we're reading that the right way. I don't think we're interpreting that the right way.
Well, I mean,
every single MQM, I mean, a vast majority of Delta members have more roller MQMs than you do. At which point, every single Diamond will take this deal, and everything will just be worse. Like, no problems whatsoever will be solved.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but I mean, I don't know.
Then
how
100%
else to
you take
interpret
that deal, and send me that screenshot, and we'll parade around and ask what in the world Delta's doing, and this will confirm that I will not step foot more than 3 times a year on Delta until February 2nd, 2028.
Yeah, and let me read this. It says, beginning in early 2024, members will have a choice as to whether to put MQM rollover balances towards MQDs or miles, and customers who have MQM rollover balances over 100,000 will be giving special offers to extend their earned 2024 status 1 year for each 100K rollover MQMs.
So if you haven't qualified for Diamond yet because of MQMs, then how do you have 400,000 rollover? Don't you have to?
I haven't qualified on MQDs. MQDs is what I don't have.
All right. So then, if you haven't qualified, do you technically have any MQM rollovers?
That's why I would need to spend the 100,000 now in November and December to get my MQDs to qualify for Diamond next year, which a month ago I wasn't going to do, and so I would have to I'd have to hit it super hard the next 2 months, abandon everything else.
I just don't think this is actually going to happen. I think if you did this, then something a little asterisk would come out and be like, "Oh, you can only do it for 1 year," and then we'll give you another offer maybe next year, at which point it'll be 300,000 to roll over. There's no way that they're going to give you. They're giving people Diamond until 2028.
Well, it sounds like we're going to have to reach out to our good friend at Delta who's in Delta Comms and ask him for an answer on this, because if this is the case, then I got to get spending.
Yeah, if this is the case, you absolutely have to get spending. But
and to your point, if this is the case, there are going to be a whole lot of status people holding on. So many
people holding on to status, and this has just made everything worse. I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, but you're not going to be flying Delta anyways.
No, I'm not flying Delta anyways. No, I'm flying them once actually, but it's from Sarasota, LaGuardia. Will not touch Atlanta.
We have talked about this. Yes, we have. All right, so last topic on the chart, Southwest's changes. And let me tee these up, and then I want to get your opinion on them, because we haven't really talked about this. We talked about it a little bit, but so Southwest is introducing a bunch of changes to their loyalty program, Rapid Rewards. First off is the ability to redeem cash and points, to combine the two. I don't think that's ever a bad thing. They're also reducing the amount of spend you need to earn status via a credit card. So you'll get
the exact opposite of Delta. Okay. We got 2 programs 100%. Moving in opposite directions here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you get 1,500 tier qualifying points towards A-List and A-List Preferred for every $5,000 you spend on a variety of their credit cards. You'll also need fewer flights to get to A-List status, and then fewer flights to get to A-List Preferred. And I don't remember all the benefits. I think you get free Wi-Fi with
A-List Preferred. Yeah.
With Preferred. Yep. And then they're also adding that A-List Preferred members will get 2 drinks per flight, alcoholic drinks, premium drinks. So a variety of changes are making the program better. And this one might actually lead us to the discussion that you also wanted to tag on about where things are going. Mm-hmm. But at a high level, what do you think of these Southwest changes?
Great. I always thought not being able to do cash and points was weird in Rapid Rewards. So especially with the odd amounts they have, because I'm always left, it was like, hey, your flights for the family of 4 are 21,233 miles. You got to transfer in 2,000 Chase, and you're like, great, now I have 777 miles sitting here. Why can't we just do cash and points to get rid of these weird amounts? It sounds like we can do that now, and that'll be awesome. So great. Lowering barriers to status, I think that's great. What I like about the Southwest program is it's not like there's a fixed number of first class seats everybody's fighting for. Like, these benefits are fulfillable regardless if the entire plane is A-List Preferred. The Wi-Fi might be a little slow, but that's what I like about elite programs is top tier elite statuses. Your benefits are always able to be fulfilled. I've taken that playbook here at Bilt for rent day. Like, it doesn't matter how many platinum members we have, they can all have the 150% transfer bonus. So I think it's great. I think these are great changes. And again, we've brought up Southwest a couple of times, and me having to take a look at flying it because a companion pass would just be incredibly valuable to have for my family. So should I be really just doing that and just worry about transferable points being the international business class tickets and flying Southwest? I think there's an argument to be made for it. And 2 free drinks, man. That flight Atlanta to Orlando is only 50 minutes, so we better start pounding them as soon as we get up cruising. Steve,
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear you drinking more on planes. Yes. Let's encourage robust drunkenness.
Yeah,
we don't have enough of that right now.
What happens on those flights is they walk by with a little tray of water and they go, "Sorry, the flight's too short for service today." And you're like, "But I'm A-List Preferred. I need my 2 drinks." And it's like, "Sir, this is a 6:30 a.m. flight. You don't need it that bad."
Oh man. Well, and so here's a nuanced question I have as I'm reading this. So you need 135,000 tier qualifying points to earn the companion pass on Southwest. The announcement reads that you'll get 1,500 tier qualifying points towards A-List and A-List Preferred with every $5,000 spent on your card. When you go down to the little number 2 and you read all the little details, the T's and C's, it says Rapid Reward credit card holders can earn more tier qualifying points on credit card purchases. Will count towards A-List Preferred qualifications based on when they are posted to your Rapid Rewards account and not based on spending need. The points posted to your account after your statement close date will be different each customer. Here's the thing. It doesn't say anything about Companion Pass. Do we have 2 counters now? I mean,
No.
or I don't think so, but it's really interesting that even in the T's and C's, they don't talk about Companion Pass acceleration.
I saw some chatter about, I think there's some updated Southwest offers this week. I'm trying to find the article to see if the spend is... Southwest has never differentiated before, and I think if they did, they would have called it out more specifically. So I think it all counts as long as you're in a point. Like, isn't that right?
Actually, here's another note here's another unrelated in the T's and C's. I actually think they have. This says cash and points bookings will not earn Rapid Rewards points, tier qualifying points for A-List or A-List Preferred status, or Companion Pass qualifying points.
So now we do have Companion Pass qualifying points.
We have 2.
Or did we miss it? I'm sure we got some Southwest diehards that are listening right now and can help us figure this out.
This probably didn't happen today, but it's when we're realizing it that this helps with credit cards. The credit card spend helps with A-List status, but does not help you get your Companion Pass sooner, which does not surprise me because they just raised the tiers last year for Companion Pass. So I can't imagine they would have raised it and then made it easier to get a year later.
No, and this is always the time of year where everybody starts to try and, this is the worst thing, people come off with great victories or horrible failures when they try and time getting the multiple Southwest cards and then meeting the spend so that the points post like as close to January 1st, 24 as possible. So you have Companion Pass all of 24 and 25, and every single year in the Facebook groups and on Reddit, you see the people who the points post like December 29th, and they're like, no, and there's no way to get it fixed. If you mess it up, you mess it up. So if you're going to play this game, ladies and gentlemen, know the rules, play the game right, make sure those points post in 2024, or else you're out of luck. But yeah, it's really, I've been saying it for a month now. It's time for me to like start over again and study everything in the Southwest program. I got to go study their flight frequencies and routes out of Atlanta. I know it's really robust out of Atlanta. How many times do they fly to New York? What is going to be required for Companion Pass? Like, it's way past time that I sit down and study it again. Because, man, when the kids were babies and infants, all we flew was Southwest because it's so easy with a family. But since they've kind of gotten out of that toddler phase, we moved away from Southwest, and maybe it's just time to look at it again.
Yeah, no, definitely could be. Well, here's a question, sir, Mr. Kerr. With babysitting duty imminent, do you have time to talk about your question to me at the beginning about what we see coming in our crystal ball for the industry?
Yeah, we should talk about it.
All right, let's do it. This is your cue. This is your cue.
I purposely did that because usually we're so on point. I was like, "What is he going to do if I don't do what I usually do?" And you were just like, "Yeah." It got worried. I saw in his face. He's like, "What's this not what Kurt?" Yeah. So before we began recording today, and Ed and I have been talking about this for a few times, but I had some pretty pointed conversations with some hotel owners and some real estate group owners who also own hotels, and then just hire a operating company to do it. But between those conversations that I had, conversations with some of my partners, and then some of the things that we've been seeing, like Southwest being pretty aggressive in picking up new business travel and new elite members, some comments that Scott Kirby made in the very recent United call, pretty much calling out Frontier and Spirit and saying they're in a lot of trouble, and some other people who've been talking about that. The recent thing I saw was that JetBlue, if they get this merger through the courts, lowering their offering price for Spirit because Spirit's in trouble. Spirit actually paused their pilot and flight attendant training program.
I saw that. Yeah,
because the demand's just not going to be there, and the operating costs need to go down. So all those points to what are we going to see next year? And I mean, so far I have not seen any lowering of prices that I could say. Maybe I'm not looking in the right markets. New York's just kind of one.
I've seen some on airfare.
I just haven't seen it yet, man. So I mean, we're starting to see like Disney's come out with a few deals, like that $1,000 dining gift card promo that they have, and the 4 parks for $99 a day. And Disney's pretty demand proof. So when they start coming out with deals, I don't know. I am certainly think it's going to be an interesting 2024. Do I think I'm ever going to get on a plane that's not completely full next year? No. Like maybe that's just an Atlanta thing, but the hoteliers are talking about softening demand pretty quick. They're saying Q1 over the winter for places that are not winter destinations are going to be pretty brutal. And obviously some of the airlines see some trouble out there. So I don't know, man. Is it going to affect any of my behaviors right now? That's like what I'm always looking for out of this conversation is what's the actionable content. I don't think it's going to change any of my behaviors right now. I'm not going to pay a bit more attention to see if I can catch some deals somewhere. Yeah. But otherwise, I just kind of sit in wait mode to see what happens.
Yeah, it doesn't change my behavior necessarily either, but I have seen softening. I mean, I've got some flights coming up where San Francisco is a viable option for me to either connect or I need to go to San Francisco. And, first class fares on those routes are usually absolutely brutal out of Dulles. That just is what it is. There's plenty of capacity for global services in both directions on that route. It's always been that way. And I don't, there's a threshold for which I'll buy up on a flight like that, but it's a long flight, so it's always a flight that I look at because of the extra work I can get done in a business class seat for the 5+ hours. Where I was consistently seeing $1,000 and up one way for San Francisco, I'm now seeing $600, and still not sure that's my number, but I'm seeing coach fares in the 200s and I'm seeing first class fares in the 600s, and I mean those are much lower than they were. Vegas has softened a bit for me as well, so I've definitely seen some softening.
First of all, I remember the first class fares you were talking about like a year ago for these routes. Or the coach fares that you were talking about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's $600 I was paying for coach fares. In fact, I paid $600 for a coach fare to Vegas this year.
Yeah, so that's significantly lower. My gauge for this, again, it should not be the gauge because New York is its own special beast right now.
New York and like New York to London, like those things are a beast of their own.
But we do have 2 nights coming up in New York for the TPG Awards, and I remember I booked a hotel like 3 weeks ago because I saw what the prices were doing. It alarmed me. But taking a look at these same dates again, man. When I booked this hotel, and I'm pretty sure I've got something booked for like $450 a night, and that was the cheapest at a place that you want to stay. But I'm seeing stuff for under $300 now at least Marriott properties that I would want to stay at, which is actually these 2 nights are going to cap out my platinum status, which is why I'm staying there. So these prices, I would say, just scrolling through Marriott.com here. If you're looking at me in the camera, I'm scrolling through these dates and nights. Like
I'm looking.
Yeah. talking to the viewers, Ed, not you.
Got it. I thought you were talking to me.
Yeah. So you may not want to stay here, but I think it is a new hotel, the Delta Hotel Times Square, which is
that's not new, but newish. Yeah, it's been around for a little bit.
$186 a night. I mean, that's
wow.
I can't remember I saw the last time any Marriott property in New York for under $200 a night. So I even in the last 3 weeks, I think things have softened up a bit. Hey, which is good news for everybody that's got to travel like me, because man, it was just kind of out of control.
No, it was tough. It was tough finding affordable flights, and the problem with that is that then you start messing around with your schedule because you don't want to travel at like these peak pricing, and it just it makes things messy. And I won't say that I've seen like a full thaw at this point in pricing, but there's some softness out there.
$186 a night, and what does that mean for 24? I think, ladies and gentlemen, even if the seatbelt sign is off, please keep your seatbelts fastened because we're not sure what's coming.
Is that really
you like that? You like
episode?
that? Yeah, look at that. Put that bow on that. Yeah, everybody, standing ovation. Look, the kids were behind me, standing ovation. Dad, that was awesome.
Oh my gosh! Talk about landing the plane.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that was about as soft a landing as I've seen in quite some time, Mr. Curry. You are a true expert.
Well, I didn't want to do any spoilers. Airplane,
Oh,
yeah.
That was so bad. That was so bad.
We can go.
You were doing so well, and then you drove the dad joke right in.
Spoilers part of an airplane. If you can get it, that was funny. Laugh.
Haha. All right, so let's see. What do we got on the radar? We got potential Orlando sighting to win the bet.
Just a few days.
By the time we record again, here's the thing. By the time we record again, we will know who won the bet because both of our trips are coming right up. Orlando and then TPG Awards. Bang bang.
Yeah.
It's all coming down this, man.
I'm gonna have to travel the microphone actually, so we can record in person either in New York or Orlando.
Ooh, tasty. All right, so we got Orlando, we got New York, I've got Lisbon and a little side trip to Malaga for a day. I still have Auckland booked. I got a Vegas, a New York, another New York, and that might be it. How about you? New York?
No, actually, so we got a couple of destinations in Florida, then New York, then Nashville, then Asheville, then back home, then New York, then Orlando, and then we got a cruise sighting on the horizon. We have a potential ship popping up on the horizon there, so we're trying to lock in one of those. There's some. Speaking of 2024 trends, there are some pretty sweet last-minute cruise deals out there, ladies and gentlemen. So I think one of them is going to be too tempting that I cannot pass it up.
And just in case you're new to the show, for Mr. Kerr, that would be SUITE, sweet.
Trademark. That is correct. KERRECT. Everybody's already turned it off. They're disgusted. That's enough of this episode.
This is why you should be watching video, because you would see the appalled look on my face as I shake my head back and forth. Yes, dad jokes are fresh daily. I think I have that mug. I'll bring it. I'll bust it out next time. But this week,
courtesy of Sparkle White.
As I've had so many weeks, the Riviera mug and glitter mic. But all right. Let's land this plane. You got to go babysit. We got plenty of travel coming up. We may have a clean sweep of the bet because I have tickets booked for both Orlando and, well, wait. I don't have a ticket booked for New York. I have a hotel room booked for New York. All right, so we might have a clean sweep of the bet there. So we may need to readjust the over-under to 2.5 for folks who are putting their money down now. But Mr. Kerr is locked in at the under on 1.5, and I am going to kick his beep until we upload again. We've got miles to go. For the life of me, I cannot figure out why they did this.